Hi everybody, welcome back. This is the 8th video in the series How to Compose, with a particular emphasis on GCSE and A-level music. And today we're just going to be getting stuck straight into the actual composition using MuseScore and bringing everything together, all our melodies, all of our accompaniment patterns, and just to show you how everything is structured together. I'll probably take up the whole screen to do this, and I might actually fast forward the sort of mundane parts just to put everything together, so there's parts of the video that may speed up as a result of all that. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it then. Okay, so let's start off with our melody. I might actually bring in the keyboard just to make it easier to come up with something, to show you how our main melody, that's going to be mostly triadic, outlining these chords in the key of C minor. All of this we've already seen from the 6th video, so how to actually put all this together and why I've chosen a string quartet and the structure that I'm using and the key that I'm starting in. So we've already seen this before in the previous videos, and if you haven't seen that, go back over the videos and just make sure you're okay with string quartet features and how to modulate and things like that. So here we go. So because we're in C minor, keeping it nice and triadic, I probably want my first melody to be outlining these notes that belong to the chord of C minor. So maybe something like, yeah, just the very first chord. Da. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to just write that in first of all. And something like this. So maybe for bar 2, outlining chord 5, and I was thinking of the triplets there. Something like outlining those notes that belong to the chord 5, G major. So the first bar. And maybe for bar 3, back to the chord of C minor. I'm just going to try writing those ideas straight into MuseScore. So. Maybe having the triplets around the second half of this second bar. So taking this G, making it a triplet. So we can add in. And don't forget our B naturals, because our raised sevenths in the minor key. And same triplet idea for here. Again, just all of these notes are outlining. There's no non-harmony notes so far. It's just all outlining chords 1 and chords 5. For bar 1 is chord 1, bar 2 is all chord 5. Yeah, I might want actually the rest here. Ba 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 ba. Yeah, so da da da. And then back to that sort of strong, bold, dotted rhythm again. So making sure, of course, that your leading note resolves upwards. That's B natural should resolve upwards to C. Da, ba, ba, ba. Yeah, I might actually make that a little bit quicker. So it actually is more like a dotted quaver rhythm. Da, da, da. And then maybe having this triplet idea again. Except over here. Maybe harmonizing chord 4, I think, maybe. Yeah, the F minor chord. Because it's all just been chord 1. Da ba 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 Da da da. Maybe chord 4. And ending on chord 5 for our imperfect cadence. So yeah, maybe having a little bit more conjunct or stepwise motion here. It has been very bold and triadic, as that's what we wanted, of course, for our opening melody. So, but I'm just going to move some of these notes to a bit more stepwise, outlining an F minor chord. So maybe going up to the A flat. Da, da, da. Down to F. And then that's do do dum. Yeah, take that rhythm again. So yeah, we're just going to take that dotted quaver rhythm again. Outlining chord 5, so maybe just the D up to the G. Do, do, dum. Also, don't be afraid to have a few rests as well. The whole thing doesn't have to be just, complete melody. For every single part of every single bar. Having parts in the music where you allow the music or the melody to breathe a little is nice. Yeah, so might do something similar as well for the second violin, so that it harmonizes it. So maybe da ba bum. Maybe in thirds. That's the lowest note we can play here. Da da dum. Da dum. Yeah, going back up. Do do dum ba bum. Maybe the outline chord 5 right away. Yeah. GBD. So I might want in the cello part to be outlining the triad a little bit more. Da da dum ba bum. Do dum. Yeah. Do 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 do. Don't forget B naturals. Do do dum. Okay, so I've got some sort of harmonization of the first violin by the second violin here, and then it's doing its own thing, I suppose, in bars 3 and 4, just to provide a little bit more foundation to some of these chords. So we have chord 1 for that full first bar, then we have chord 5 for the second bar, back to chord 1 at least for the beginning here, C, E, G chord, and then probably outlining we could outline just all chord 1 for that whole bar, because the G and the E flat will also belong to chord 1, and we could just consider the A flat and the F as our non-harmony notes. Well, let's see if we can do that. So if we 1 5 1 5, keeping it really simple, just tonic and dominant harmony. And I might not even do anything for the viola at the start. I'll just leave that blank as is and just have our cello providing this sort of forward momentum in the cello part by doing lots of quavers, maybe staccato quavers the whole way through this. So just outlining, I suppose, C, E, G chord. Okay, let's have a listen just to these first 4 bars, just to get an idea of actually what it sounds like. Okay. It sounds quite thick and congested, that there's a lot going on. What I may want to do, just to make it a bit cleaner and crisper, is, yeah, take that whole part in the cello and just make it staccato. Bum, 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 bum. I might even do that to the melody. Dum, dum, bum, bum, bum. Yeah. Especially for those triplets. Okay, let's see what that sounds like. Same thing again, I suppose. Yeah, actually, the whole thing is going to sound nicer anyway, if we make it all staccato. So maybe for our second subject, a bit more legato, a bit more lyrical, just to have a contrast as well in articulation. So at the moment, it's very bold, triadic in a minor key. For our second subject, which is going to be way over here, it's going to be more lyrical, stepwise, scalic in the relative major. And we might try and make it more legato, maybe using longer note values, just to provide as much contrast as possible with this first subject. Okay. Let's have one last listen. We don't have to do this, but we may want to put in a few more non-harmony notes just to sort of maybe link these parts up a little bit. So, yeah, we could, if we wanted to, have like da 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 dum, something like that, and maybe doing the same thing here. Dum da da dum. Yeah. Ba ba bum. Yeah, even maybe going upwards. Dum, ba ba bum, ba ba bum. Yeah, okay. Going up. Da da da. Da da dum. Yeah, maybe going down here just to link these guys up. Da 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 dum. Ba ba bum. Dum da da dum. Yeah, I'm just going to change some of the rhythms around just to make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, let's see how that sounds. That's sounding pretty good, I think. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight it all in red, just so we know that this is for development reasons. Later on, we'll just be able to look back and think anything that's in red will develop, and then everything will have its own color. So it will help us keep track of what we've already developed and what we haven't developed. So I'm just going to highlight everything here as the red section, the first 4 bars, I suppose, of our first subject. And I've already got an idea for the color for the next 4 bars. It's going to be orange. So we need a 4-bar reply to this opening 4-bar. And if you remember how to compose melodies and melodic motion in the first 3 videos of this series, if you're wondering how I'm able to do this, I'm just abiding by the rules of melodic motion, melodic composition, and development ideas. So we're probably going to reuse this opening stuff. Maybe introduce the viola as well. Hasn't done anything yet. Okay, so let's just take this opening idea. Yeah, so maybe the first 2 bars even, using the same rhythms. Just make sure, keep it orange. Ba da da dum ba ba bum. May want something slightly different here because I'm going to be ending in a perfect cadence and I need to set that up. So I'm going to have maybe chord 5 and chord 1 for my ending here. So the notes in black are the ones that are different from before, I suppose. Maybe tie that actually. It might be nice to have that as a longer note. Yeah, tied in. And then maybe the dotted rhythm again, but more bolder and triadic to end our first subject. So maybe outlining chord 1. And then chord 5 for the start of this bar. And chord 1. I'm just thinking of the harmonic foundation. Again, something else we've already looked at in previous videos it's very important to have a good idea in your mind of what the harmonies are going to be. Our harmonies are very simplistic. As I said, the opening bar here is going to be chord 1, then chord 5. So, and then back to chord 1, and then chord 5 again. So, yeah, we need to have something slightly different here. So we've already had chord 1. Chord 5. Maybe chord 1 again, but speeding the harmonic rhythm up a wee bit. So maybe 1, and then over the next bar, go into chord 5 and end that with chord 1. So that'll get us our perfect cadence that we're looking for. Okay, so using the dotted rhythms, as I say, might be a nice idea. We've kind of already used quite a bit of dotted rhythms, but taking this idea, maybe dum ba bum ba bum. So maybe that was on its way down. So maybe down to the E flat that belongs to this chord 1. Bum ba bum. So just taking this rhythm and reusing it a few more times. Bum, bum, bum. Let me see. Oops. Yeah. Okay, that will work. Bum, 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 bum. So make him a D. Again, having another wee rest might be nice because we've had a lot of movement at this point in the music. So let's just have a listen back to this melody just to see if that sounds okay. Yeah, that's actually not bad. I mean, may want to make that staccato as well. I'll probably reuse the same ideas from the cello. So again, just going to copy this and paste it down here. Obviously change its appearance to orange, so we remember this is the orange section. But do I want to do the exact same thing? You know, outlining these chords, maybe having a bit more movement in the cello part. Bum 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 bum. Maybe da 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 dum. Yeah. Ba bum ba da da dum bum. Maybe descending arpeggios because we seem to have a lot of ascending movement before. So G da. So what does that sound like? Yeah, that's actually nice. Dum 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 bum 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 bum. Maybe the same thing. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, and because we have a lot of movement going on here in the violin, and we probably will have that for the second violin as well, it might be nice just to have nice, steady crotchets here, outlining the roots of each chord. So, yeah, so anticipating the 5-1, having a lot of like G's here. So it's almost like we're doing a 1/2 inversion, I suppose, a 1C chord. Do, do, do. Dum, ba, dum. 1C, 1C, 5, 5, 1. Yeah, okay. Da, 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 dum. Okay, yeah, maybe having a little semi-quiver movement going down here. Make sure we've got staccato selected. Yeah. And maybe just ending with a rest. There we go. So again, just going to highlight everything orange here, just to remind us that this is the second part of the first subject. So make it orange. You can choose any color you like, of course. There's no real reason for the choice of colors. Okay, I'm just going to listen to this section again. There's 4 bars. And that sounds quite nice. Again, maybe having similar ideas for the second violin. So harmonizing, or at least following quite closely to begin with what the first violin's doing. Yeah, in fact, let's see if we copy this over first of all, from just like we've done with the other instruments, and then just change the appearance again, because I may reuse some of this material. Dum, do do do, dum, bum bum bum, do do do, do 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 do. That actually might be okay. Bum. Okay, so we've got C, E, G. We've already got the E flat from the chord, so we don't need another one really. Yeah, so it's because this isn't the same as it was before, I might have to change this just to, well, I suppose another C. C, C, E, and G. Okay, that's going to be okay. Yeah, just make it straightforward. Crotchets, I suppose. Yeah, so if the cello's going to do crotchets, and they're probably going to do that nice and crisp staccato, I might do the same thing here. So maybe C, E, C, double in the third. G. Well, it should be okay because we're going to be doing the B natural, I suppose, here again. Da, bum, 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 bum. Yeah, maybe moving upwards so we don't have 2 B naturals hitting 2 C's here. So maybe bum. And again, just taking this last beat out of the bar. Just have a nice rest there. So again, always go back over and listen every time just to see, is it okay? Every time you add something new or change something. So here we go. Second 4 bars of the first subject. It's okay so far. Making everything a bit more staccato and crisp. So for the viola, I'll probably want to add in some sort of counter idea or a counter melody or something else. So the first and second violins are quite closely allied to each other. The cello is definitely providing the forward momentum of all of these quavers in the first 4 bars and in the bars 5 and 6. And even these little semi-quavers da-da-da-da-dum at the end of that. Yeah, so we have to give a new role for the viola. Let me see. Maybe we've got our G's, E flats, we've got our C's. So maybe another C. Do, 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 do. Yeah, something like that while everyone else is busy doing their own thing. Yeah. Dum da 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 dum. 1, 2. Yeah, okay. Bum ba 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 bum. Two minds, should it be dotted rhythm like everything else, or just crotchet with another crotchet? Because dum rest da 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 actually might be nice having a rest because there's a lot going on elsewhere. Dum rest da. Don't forget your B naturals. So does that work with our D, D, G, and B? Yes, okay, so we got our B naturals here. Dum. And we could actually have another B natural here because it's in the cello only for a second and then it's down to G. So maybe having the B natural here resolving up. Da 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 dum. And again, crotchets. Just like the other instruments. So everyone's together except the violin, which is first violin's providing the melody. Everyone else is quite homophonic here. Dum. Bum. So we're not doing the exact same thing. We don't want parallel octaves here or anything. So we have our, I suppose our A, C, and E chord. So it's almost like we have our dum. Yeah, that actually sounds nice. So we have our A flat, C's, and E flats here. And again, C, E flat, and G. So if we're having a 1C chord here. Yeah, so we have a 1C harmony. Chord 6. Let's see, make those. Should probably do the same thing up here. Make these chord 1s lowercase because we are in a minor key after all. So 6, 1C, C, E, G, yeah. So another 1C chord, then chord 5 would be here. 5, 5, 1. Nice, perfect cadence there. Okay. Dum, C, E, G. Always a good idea to double in a 1C chord to double the fifth of the chord. So having 2 G's here is fine. In fact, it's better than fine. It's good practice. Da, bum, bum, bum. Da, da, da. I could probably do G's the whole way along. Let's see. Da, 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 da. G, 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 G. Lots of G's. G, B, and D. Yeah, so another G. And C, E. Yeah, okay. G. maybe give it some semi-quiver movement just to make it a bit more rhythmically interesting here. Da 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 dum. And again, let's listen back. That's actually really nice. We haven't added in any dynamics or anything, so I may want to bring this sort of counter idea, da 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 dum, just to bring it out a little bit more by increasing the dynamic level, but we'll worry about all that later on. Okay, now let's listen to, I suppose, the first 8 bars. Well, before I do that, I'll just make sure everything is the right color. Okay, here are the first 8 bars. Let's see what they sound like. Yeah, not bad actually. Okay, so this is going to be our first subject, and maybe to make it a bit more forceful there, that there's something new happening, maybe having it as a sustained note might just bring it out a wee bit more. So maybe getting rid of that staccato and changing it to a minim. Yeah, let's have a wee listen to that. Yeah, maybe doing the same thing here. Da 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 da. So that is our first subject. Let's have a go and see if can we do our second subject. And then we have to figure out a way of connecting them together from the bridge passage, come up with some new material or something, or bridge material that's going to get us from our first subject to our second subject. So as I say, our second subject should be lyrical, stepwise, a bit more stepwise and scalic motion, and it's going to be in the key of E flat. So maybe longer note values as well, like minims and crotchets rather than quavers and semi-quavers that we had over here in dotted rhythms. So just taking it a little bit more regular, rhythmically speaking anyway. Okay, so if we put in, we're going to be doing the key of E flat major, so let me just bring up my keyboard just to give some ideas. So maybe chord 1. Yeah, so harmonically speaking as well, making it a bit more complex, or maybe even just more chords from the diatonic key of, or from the key of E flat major. Because we only really used 1 and 5, the odd chord 6, I think, was in the opening there as well. But nearly everything is just tonic and dominant harmony. So again, maybe making the harmony get a nice harmonic progression. So maybe chord 1 to chord 4, chord 5, and then maybe 6, down to 3, 4, down to 1. Or maybe Yeah, because we're going to have an imperfect cadence here. Okay, so if we keep that in mind, let me see, if we do chord 1 for this opening. Maybe chord 4, which we haven't actually seen yet. Chord 4 to chord 5, 6. Maybe doing the same thing here where we had these crotchet movements within the bar, doing the same thing to get us a few more chords. So what was I doing? It was 6, 3, 4, 1, 2, going to 5. Okay, so 6, 3, 4, 1, 2, going to 5. Okay, so those are the chords I'm going to use. So in the key of E flat major, of course. So let's see, can we come up with a nice melody in the key of E flat? So if we start off with E flat anyway. Yeah. Descending scale. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I've heard that somewhere before. Can't remember what it's from. Okay, well, use that melody first. Then dum. Okay, so stepwise movement here all the way down. That could work. Maybe tie that just to make it a bit more interesting. Okay, that might be a little bit better, but let's see. Again, second violin may want to follow this because we're introducing a lot of new material here. We're introducing new chords, new keys, obviously a new melody. So we need something just to bring the texture together a little, make it a bit more cohesive. Again, maybe keeping it in thirds and sixths might be nice. So, well, first violin's doing E flat, so maybe if we just move this up to G and just have it going downwards. Boom, 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 boom. Doom. Oh, get rid of that. Now that should be our D, B. So we're going to need, I'm just trying to leave the root of the chords most of the time to the cello part. Do 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 boom 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 boom. Maybe country motion here, just going up instead of going down. Da da, and then thirds. Ba 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 ba. Da da dum. So that should be B, D, and F probably in the bass. Okay, let's listen to these two lines together just to make sure that it sounds something. There's not really any huge dissonances. That's not bad. Can we bring that back? Well, we can bring it back slightly different. Okay, so the bass part is just going to, the cello parts is going to be doing mostly outlining these chords. Da 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 dum. Maybe have that a little bit more abrupt ending there. Maybe make that a bit more staccato. Da 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 dum da 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 dum. That was meant to be our chord 4 for this bar. Make sure I'm keeping with the A flat, C, and E. So that should be hitting A flat here. Bum. Going up to B flat for B, D, and maybe leave the 5th for the viola. Da dum dum. Then going down to F. Da dum. Okay, it sounds alright. May want to change a few wee things later, but sounds okay for now. If I have the B flat going up to C here, and I've got B flat to C, I risk consecutive octaves here. So maybe, if it's to maybe approach it from above, that mightn't be so bad. But then I've got E and D. So maybe just the E crotchet. Yeah, so bum, C, G, A, E flat, dum, 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 bum. Okay, let's have we listen again. Dum, dum, dum. Yeah, bum. Yeah, okay. Make it a descending scale going down. Da 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 dum. Do 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 dum. Yeah, okay. I can maybe have the E flat a little bit higher. I know cellos can leap quite a lot, but it may be a bit awkward, some of these movements. So I may, if I want to make it a bit smoother, put it up to E flat there. Yeah. Okay, so I've got E, E, G. Maybe the B flat then can go into the viola. E, G. Yeah, same thing there. So is there any quaver movement, make the viola and the cello more aligned. I don't want to, because the moment it's a fifth, I don't want consecutive fifths by having the F there and the C up here in the alto part, or the viola part. So that's consecutive fifths there, so I don't want that either. Just leave it as a crotchet for now. Might come back to it later. Ba, ba, bum. Let me get a bit staccato. There we go. Nice. Okay. So for that actually sounds. Da, ba, ba, bum. Might use that again. What happens if I put it in here? Well, that should be G, because this is meant to be, chord 6, a C minor chord. So if I just move it down. This is a bit tricky, this section, as you can tell. So maybe B, D, B, F. Yeah, so maybe this is the appoggiatura that we have here. And that actually it's a BDF chord for this whole part of the bar. Maybe just the BB. BBC. So B flat, B flat. Got our F, we've got our B flat, we've got our D. We even got an A, I suppose, or some sort of. But it really should be falling then. I suppose that's okay. D, B, F. Okay, so making it da. F. Just to end on the F here. For our B, D, F, our chord 5 here that we're aiming for. We got our B, D, B, and now we've got our F. So I'm just using that little idea. Just get rid of all these staccato marks. We're using the idea from here, this little ba ba bum, and I've got it almost like a descending sequence here. Ba 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 bum ba da da dum. So if we actually just select this, I suppose, just to listen to the viola part on its own. Yeah, and I listen to that 4 bars again, I suppose, from here to here. Yeah, so as you can tell, it's a smoother articulation than before. It's a bit more stepwise than before. It's mostly longer note values than the first subject, and it's also in a new key. And yeah, a bit more legato sounding. Okay, let's go back just to the very beginning. Just to listen through the first one and compare the two of them together. Okay, and our second subject. Okay, so let's switch it up a little bit. Just give it to our second violin. Give our first violin something new to do, I suppose. Again, I'll just change the color back to, I think it's green for this section. So just to remind us, this is a new part. Make it simple, I suppose, for this part. Yeah, so just 1, 4, 5s, and 1s again. So let me see for this part. 4, 5. Maybe chord 5 the whole way along here until we hit chord 1 at the end. So we want it to end on E flat. Yeah. Yeah, bum, bum, bum. Maybe the same thing going down. Da da dum. Maybe that ends a bit weird. I'll have to come up with something maybe a little bit different. Okay, it's slightly better, but yeah, very, very simplistic harmony here. And that's good because we're coming up to a development section where the harmony is going to be very advanced and chromatic and very different to what we've had before, combining different ideas together as well. So this is similar. So hopefully this cello part should be similar too. No, actually, this is all going to be B flats, boom, 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 boom. Actually, just have that as da-dum. On the pulse, boom, 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 boom. Just increases the anticipation of that perfect cadence. Ba, bum, dum, 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 dum. That's bound to hit bum at some point. Okay, same maybe for the viola. Okay, so let's have we listen just to our 2 sections of our second subject. And again, I'm just going to change the color to make sure that opening 4 bars of the second subject and the next 4 bars, I may want to add something for that second violin, or first violin actually. but I just want to make sure that these 8 bars actually sound like they belong together. Okay. Yeah, we definitely need something more there from that first violin. So maybe another sort of counter melody. Okay. Ba-bum. Let's just change this to rest so we can actually start putting stuff in. Actually, maybe off the beat. Ba-bum. What was it again? Yeah, I got that. Ba-ba-ba-bum. B, D, B. Oh, already got a D. So maybe having that. So it's basically all going to belong to chord 5 here. So again, let's make the rhythm a bit easier to work with. Change things up here. Yeah. Give it a wee bit more ba-ba-da-dum by making it staccato here. Okay, that's our second subject, I think. Again, just to change the appearance to make sure it's all the same color. So make it easier for our development section. But our next section is going to be the bridge. How are we going to get this first subject and the second subject together? Okay, that's what we're probably going to do in our next video. But I just wanted to show you how we could build up the first subject and the second subject. What a lot of students tend to do is, have different sort of motion for each subject. So triadic versus stepwise, or arpeggios versus scales. Maybe staccato versus legato, shorter note values versus longer note values, old key versus new key. So as long as there's quite a few areas of contrast between the two sections, it's going to sound nice, because these are the things that we're going to be developing over here, and that's going to be a video on its own, the development. So we'll probably have a look at the next section in our next video, of how to build up the bridge. How do we make a bridge section to modulate as well from the key of C minor into the new key of E flat major? So let's listen to each subject one last time, just to get an idea of what the two characters are for these subjects. They should be quite different from each other, hopefully. Okay, so that was our first subject. Our second subject. Okay, guys, we'll leave it there today. Yeah, so come back for the next video to see how are we going to build up the bridge passage, and how are we going to get from the old key of C minor into the new key of E flat major, and what characteristics do we use for a bridge passage. So we'll deal with all of that in our next video.